Hey everybody, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Turn the logo around there. Monster Energy. How's it going? Bitcoin might be breaking out. We've got channel members Will, Dan, Ivan, Donald, Svenborn, Craig, Rex, Darren, Joy, Diane, Arturo, General Rush, good to see you, sir, as always. Pauline, Cliff, Sergio, Kimberly, my favorite subscriber, and channel members Scott, Gary, Mad, Joseph, Ted, Ted, Diana, and David. Good morning, everybody. And then all the channel subscribers Bill, Larry, Brad, Alan, Jody, Ed, Kimberly, David, Merle, Robert. The heck is going on outside? It's so loud. Anyway, driving around with no mufflers, I guess. Anyway, welcome everybody, Jason. And today's the day that Tesla reports earnings after the close. Wrongemer's lucky. He gets to be traveling back from Austria, I think it is. He'd be like a nervous cat, I think. Probably. Anyway, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. You know, just because I take something, I might lose my money. You might lose your money if you copy me. Be careful out there. If you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. And that's not me. I'm not telling you what to do. So be careful out there. We've got the economic calendar this week is pretty devoid of anything. Like a lot of the world was still closed yesterday and the market dumped out. And I saw funny reports that on different things about that yesterday, like why we dumped. Trump said we have all the gold, so we can make the rules, and China was like, China's about to break. Like China can't stand up to the U.S. and they're lying about their numbers. They're lying about their growth. This was the same exact thing that was the unwinding of USSR in the 90s ish during the Cold War era, the end of the Cold War era. Like the thing that blew apart USSR was lying about their numbers and believing it. China's been lying, of course, but they've been able to keep growing. But there was a large default by one of the. We had the Evergrande thing 2 years back. Then that's quietly been simmering in the background, and we had another one report a massive, like $9 billion quarterly loss just this week, or like last week, I guess. And that's pretty massive. That's another real estate company in China. And one of the things I was researching before I got on here was the fact that their plastics industry they aren't self-sufficient. They actually need imports for the United States to make plastic. You think about all the plastic crap that China makes. Their plastics industry relies on a U.S. feedstock. That U.S. feedstock being ethane. It's derived, ethane and propane derived from natural gas, and they make their ethylene and propylene from those respectively. Ethane is ethylene, and then propane generates propylene, and those are the plastic feedstocks. They crack those gases and make them into plastics. Well, they're having to wind down plastic factories because the U.S. imports, their imports of those gases has dried up literally overnight. And, while they can cover up a lot of the economic numbers and, basically make it illegal for anybody to post anything, and the Great Firewall, filters out tons of stuff, their plastics factory is going being shut down is pretty difficult to hide. So they're idling them now, and maybe setting up for prolonged idling. There's no easy like, oh, we'll just replace it. It's both those chemicals are derived from natural gas that the United States produces. Both those feedstocks, and it's not just an easy replacement for China. They don't have their own feedstock source to. So the bottom line here is that it may not end quickly, but Xi won't be able to fight the U.S. on these tariffs long term. So it may be pain for us in the short term. One of the big things is that propane prices have taken a big spill on a percent basis. See if I can remember how to pull up the propane. I think it was this one. Oh, look at this. Since the beginning, and this is not price. Like if you go down to U-Haul and try to buy propane, you're not going to pay 95 cents a gallon. But look at that. Look at that dip right there. 30% down since the beginning of March right there. That's pretty wild. Now, you look at it back over here. It was much cheaper back over here. So we still got a ways to go to really take this down to lower prices, but it is well off the highs over here. So we can see propane prices plummeting down pretty big. So I find this interesting. I don't know about you, but the little things you don't hear about on the mainstream media. Now this is, we look at this right here, just like any other chart. This is an uptrend. If we break the uptrend, expect lower prices on propane. You go look at I was looking at local prices, like it's still $3 a gallon. What the freak? It's not 80 cents a gallon. So these are priced in gallons. They're propane priced in gallons. They price natural gas in BTUs or whatever, but they price propane in gallons. So anyway, so this is DP propane MBTX, Mont Bellevue, Texas propane price right there. And that's a pretty significant drop right there. I feel like 30% just since the start of the trade war, and it's not bad. It's certainly, and we have our own plastics industry here. It's not like we get everything plastic. We produce a lot of, there's a lot of factories here that produce HDPE and polypropylene pipe and stuff like that. Says it's much easier to produce it here than it is to ship it, from China. If you may have been going down the interstate and you see a place that has yellow coils of something piled up. It's natural gas pipe. That we produce that here in the United States. We don't really import that. So we do have a number of plastics producers here. There's a lot of PVC producers here. We produce a lot of our own utility pipes. Anyway, I digress on that. So back to the fact, Tesla reports earnings today after the close. And as I said, if we were up here in this zone, I would be worried about a breakdown and heading down here. Right now, this looks like we're actually bottoming. We could see on that earnings tonight, we could see a little flush right down in here. I don't really expect anything below 180 because of the way this is shaped up. We may get that little extension, and then that sets up a rally. The rally coming out of this would probably push us even further past my targets, maybe up to the 700 area eventually. That won't be instant. I'll be very surprised if this happens probably before the fall. Then we're going to see it do stuff like this. And maybe we just do 1, 2, 3, something like that. This stems back from, I'm going to switch to a little cleaner view here. Let's go back to this chart, where we can talk about this pattern right here, that we've got this low, this high, that nice retrace, that extension. This was like a 3-wave up off of that low, stopped in the ambiguous zone, except it made a higher high. Here's the, golly, man, people out there today. I'm sorry if y'all can hear those. I don't know what that was. I've been going by at like 3 miles an hour with no muffler. And that was a higher high. So this move up, not really corrective, unless it's a running flat, which that doesn't make any sense either. I mean, it can't be a downtrend, because if this was the first move down, that can't exceed. The only thing this could be is this could possibly be a B wave. And this could be, like I said, a big running flat, which running means that we would make a low higher than this low back here. So this is very, it's very odd what it's set up, because that was a 3-wave up. So it's either a 1, 2, but that's made up of 3 waves. That's made up of a kind of a diagonal. This is made up kind of a 3-wave. The structure here is very muddy. That's the key, I would say. So upside potential, somebody talking about 700, that would come from right here, basically. That 1, 2, 1, 2 potential, and to kind of illustrate that more clearly, we have this low, we have this high, we've come down to the 618. So we moved up, and what I'm talking about, 1, 2, 1, 2, we moved up, retraced, held a 618. We moved up, retraced, held a 618. This potentially puts us on a pathway to here at the minimum, which would be, the next extension. But it also potentially sets us up for a much bigger move. That would be like 1,500 if that played out right there. So the structure, I've been not sure about it. I mean, you look at it like this, it's a big sideways, and that creates some not so sure. But the fact we've got an uptrend of lows in place, we've got highs, a higher high in place, we've got proportional pullbacks in place, it sets up a potential move up like this. Now, I'm only shooting for this at this point. And I did sell 175 puts yesterday down here. There you go. That's Tesla. We'll see what happens on earnings tonight. So that's what we got. Hey, Sledge, good to see you as always. Glad to have everybody. I'm always glad. I can't do this without you, literally, because if nobody's viewing, that channel doesn't support itself. So interact, share with other people if you find anything I say insightful. I think we're closer to a bottom here. Now, where's the red line? The red line. As always, we start down below this 180 level. That's where the trouble kicks in. We could go lower low than this low back here. But this right here kind of tips the scale that we're going up, not down. The fact that we made a higher high than this high back here. And this wasn't just a 5th wave up. That doesn't really fit with the long term on the charts. Like that doesn't jive with what we did right there. So not likely to get a big deep retrace before we go further higher. All right. That's what we got on Tesla. So I'm biased up, but I also think we might dip possibly down to that 180 level. So it might be we might get that deeper pullback. And I usually pull this up and talk about it. Wrong or what? Wrongemer on vacation wasn't here to tell me to remind me to do this, so usually he's on me about my Tesla earnings statistics. Let's see. Let's see, we last did those in January. Man, I've made a lot of Google Sheets this year. Here we go. Nope, that was not it. Dang it. That was not it. Maybe I named it Tesla. I did. I didn't name it Tesla. I named it TSLA. So here we go. Let's pull this over. So the average, and let's zoom her up, Buttercup. So I've gone through the last quite a bit of years here, all the way back to 2015. So basically the last 10 years. The average reaction to earnings is a negative 13% move down. We drop 70% of the time. That's a high probability. I mean, that's almost as reliable as my price pattern that I look for every day. The average duration of that drop lasts 6 days. The average move up is 41% though. Like, so if it's one of the 30% that doesn't drop, we usually go up 41% instead of down 13%. And the average reaction up or down is 7%. So there you go. That's the statistics. So, and this is not all neat and clean because I don't usually share this. It's just my numbers right here, and I update this every time we do earnings for Tesla. Right there. I don't have it shared with anybody, so if you try to copy the link, it's not going to work. Netflix crossing? Freaking yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Heck yeah. That's going on up to 1100. Kept my trade on. I put an earnings trade on a 9 or whatever it was, 975, 995 or something like that. That thing's going to print. Nice. Nice freaking move. So guess what we hit yesterday? We basically touched the top of that target yesterday on S&P and on ES. We touched well into it, all the way down in the middle of that bubble. And guess what we're doing? Reversing higher very quickly. Look at this. Look at that. Push through this 15 minutes. Upside is set to go, baby. So downside bubble hit finally. Look at that. Touched. Bounced off the 15. Touched. At the 15. We get through it. Next resistance. Right here. Right around that 53.50. And if we get through 53.50, we're probably going to retest this high that we made right back up here on the 9th, right around 55.30. Man, these are some big moves. You could go cautiously long right now. I'd stop out below this low. If you wanted to go long SPY, long, we're talking about probably out to the summer. You could go shorter term, but I don't know how fast this move's going to go. We're going to get pullbacks along the way. You could go long. I would stop out below here. Confirm, move your stop up when we get above here. And watch out for that big 618 resistance. The big 618 resistance comes up right here. Shorter term, you could just trade for that. Probably going to go up there in the next, probably by June. Could be in just in May, but I don't know. This drop was pretty vicious, right? It's funny, when we bottomed here, I gave it a timeline, and that timeline is exactly where we hit the bottom instead of going back up to the top. Now, the scary thing here to me, .com bust, we did like a 20 to 30% drop before, and then recovered before we did the big down. .com bust, same thing. 2018 market freakout, same thing. COVID, kind of the same thing. 2020, 2021, did a pullback and then ramped off the cliff. So this pullback here, if we take it all the way back, that could be the prelude to a bigger correction, 50 to 60%. Be careful out there. So right now we're holding. I think that was it for this correction. That was probably it. Like lots of charts yesterday that I went through needed a 618 retrace. Basically what we held. This sets up. I pop up here, back to the highs. And then we probably get a little extension that would wrap us up right around that 63 to 6,500 area. As long as we don't stop right there. That 618 level right there is the key. Got to get through that level. So that 56 to 5,800 still the key level to break through. Could reject as low as 56, as high as maybe even 59. I give the 56, 58 the tighter potential to reject with that 57 sitting right in there. If we turn down off of that, it's not going to be good. No bueno. And if we get through it, this is time for long-term planning for the downside, because there's no like everything, there's no like all clear, everything's fine. We're either going to dump here or dump from up here. And we're likely set up for the bigger dump. Either way. Either way. There you go. That's the big long-term prediction. Now look at this. Double dip. I mentioned we may see this double dip. Stocks above their 20-day. Came back down. Double dipped. S5FI. Came back down. Stocks above their 50-day. Double dipped. S5TH. Probably not going to roll all the way back down. Stocks above their 200-day. This is probably on a long-term uptrend. I mean, it's possible we take it back down, but it just doesn't look very likely at the moment. Probably doing a reversal like this one from a little bit higher up. We'll at least come up to the 50% level before we come back down again. Bouncing around a lot because, hey, I like it when the market does something I said it was going to do. I mean, this does hit the target too. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect target. We're set to rally. Now, NASDAQ confirms when we break through the downtrend of highs. This downtrend of highs we've had cooking for the last month or so. When we break through it, we're probably coming up here to the 618 level. That'll be the key. Same key area as S&P. Different prices, of course. This is 2154. If you wanted to go long QQQ, if you're like, how do you trade this? QQQ, here you go. 490 is probably the area we're going to next in the short term. And if we break through that, we're going on up. How high? Let's pull it down. High to low. The upside, probably around 560, maybe even 577 on the upside here. 560, 577, 580. That would be the upside on QQQ. Now, if you try to play it with leverage like TQQQ, remember, this may underperform. It may not break all the way out. Right? It may not get back to the highs we had before. It may not get back up here. While QQQ may extend out here, this one may actually be making a lower high just at 90. We've seen that happen before. We saw it on a lot of the NVIDIA leverage. We're up here. NVIDIA made new highs, but these all made lower highs on these 2x and 3x leverage for NVIDIA. So be careful out there chasing the leverage stuff. Bitcoin. Nice. Add some extra letters here. Bitcoin, USD. Remember, tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, I have 30 minutes of awesome. It's the only time where I do a request show. take your request and evaluate them live. That's coming up 5 p.m. Eastern. Set an alarm in your calendar. Ooh, baby. Look at that. We're beating those highs. All the things I said we needed to do. Just took an extra month to get here. So watch out for resistance up here. Back near the all-time high. We may we may come up here, come all the way back down here before we can pop out. Volatility in Bitcoin, but probably set for going on out to the target. Now, the crazy thing, this could have just been enough correction, enough wind up, coiling the spring, coiling the spring, coiling the spring, coiling it, and we could just pop all the way up here. If we do that fast, it's game over. All right, crypto winter. Winter is coming. As they say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming. So, crypto winter is coming. I suspect it'll come after we hit these levels right up here. My big target right there, 170, 150 would make me happy. Then I'm out. I'm outie 500 for a while. The Bitcoin I mined, I'll sit on it because I have zero cost. The Bitcoin that I invested in, I'll probably liquidate. Any other crypto I bought, I'm going to liquidate. And that includes Mora, that includes pretty much everything. I'm going to be off of pretty much all my crypto except what I mined. And wait for the pullback because we're going back down to probably 30 to 50,000 after we hit this level right here. People say this time's different. It's not different. There's no different. Same cycle, same. Probably do a 70% pullback once again on Bitcoin. Ethereum trying to salvage itself here. Still sitting at the lows, not really participating at all. Large upside opportunity to catch up, but at this moment, not doing jack squat diddly. NKD did the retrace. If we can break out, if we can break through this upside consolidation area, we're probably going to push this on out, and this is an indication of global liquidity. If we break out through that resistance zone right there, probably coming on up here, and things are going to get spicy. Lots of stuff is going to rally hard if we do that. Dollar pushing on down. Almost got to that. We're so close. This is going to push on down right here. Highly likely to push on down to that target area right there around 97. Bigger picture, we may even push it back down to 90, but that's been my target zone on the pullback off of this high since back in 22. 3 years now, almost. We've been looking for this pullback. It's been a wild road to get here. And the reason that, with this initial move down, this retrace back up to the 618, held very tightly and plummet out. I mean, it's not magic. Like, I've been looking for this for years. It just took a little while to, the roundabout's way to get here. 94 would be an ideal place to find support. It could come as low as 89 and 90 area. But we could stop right here and be just fine. Like, that satisfies the correction. You look at this low, you look at this high. Why where I'm at? It has to do with this chart right here. I was just a little bit below that 618 level. We're tagging it right now in a big three-wave correction. Like, this was a move up. This was a big three-wave down. If we hold in this vicinity right here, the dollar could go ripping back up to all-time highs that shock everybody. Shock everybody. Everybody's like, dollar destruction, blah, 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 blah. We could go up to 150 on the DXY, 147. Golly, excuse me. The outside's still trying to kill me. MSTR, are we rocking and rolling, or are we What we doing? What's we doing here? Not really big up yet. Not acting like leverage Bitcoin yet. So be careful there. Anybody shocked on the dollar dropping out to this level? I mean, talked about it for a few years. If you're new here, if you haven't been around that long, we've been talking about this for that long. When I drew this big down arrow and I was like, we're going to break down eventually. No, we went a little higher, went higher. Now we're finally paying the piper. So we could hold in this vicinity. If we do, in fact, do that, we're looking at something like this. That will crush other currencies, quite literally. This one hitting the target. Has potential to go on up here. I'm not sure we're going to do that at the moment. This may turn down from this level and come back down here. Dollar rallying could absolutely crush other currencies. I did that one backwards. Dollar CAD. Yeah, unclear on that one. The odd. Oh, that high. This could be a big bounce right here. The New Zealand dollar. Wow, bottoming out. And see, let's see, nope, USD, JPY. That might be, that one, this one might need to extend just a little bit more before we can bounce up there. Dollar yen. That'll be a shocker right there. That I think this could be a shocker. Like, I don't think anybody else is really talking about the fact that dollar may go to, we're talking about all-time highs, like new numbers that we've never seen. I mean, it's even potential to go beat this high back here. You know, hadn't really seen numbers like that in a long time. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting. So the question is, you know, is this a long-term downtrend or was this the downtrend? We broke out, back tested, moved up, retraced, and now we're about to rip. That's the question. Like, was that the breakout, the back test, move up, retest? We're about to do this with another this and this up to crazy all-time highs. And you know, we're talking about years and years, you know, decades down the road here. Could be interesting. All right. I go pull everything moving $2 or more up in the pre-market, put it on the gainers list. $2 or more down in the pre-market, put it on the decliners list. Last several days, I've had a number of daily setups. Today, there were two, and neither one looked very good, so I didn't even bother putting them on the list. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know, sometimes there's a ton of stuff to look at, sometimes there's not. So we're just going to look at the gainers and the decliners, see if there's any opportunities. This is a biotech pharma. Be careful. You may lose money chasing it. If we get the close above this 249 area, it sets up the upside for that 304. This is the market roadmap, this orange line right here. It's what I call the roadmap line. And essentially, it works like this. We have the roadmap line. We are looking for price to move up through that roadmap line, come back, find support in the vicinity. It can go lower, and then we come up. From that low, we run a fib line, get the fib lines put in here. When we break through the 618 fib line, that sets up the high probability setup that we're going up to an extension after we've bounced off the roadmap line. So we got to get the roadmap bounce, and that looks more like this. Maybe I should have drawn it like this. Price moving up, price retracing. We draw the fib line from the high down to the low. We want to touch the roadmap line. When we get above that 618 level, right there, that activates that high probability trade. 70% likely to get to this level, 75% likely to get to that level. Being a conservative trade, I go for that level right there. And that's what we're looking for. Now, this works the same way upside down. Say price is coming down. Price is coming down. We rally back up. We hit the roadmap line. We run the fib line from here to here. When we break down through that 618 level, we'd be looking for an extension lower. Right there. Works the same way, both directions. All right. That's the primary trade I look for. Now, there's another reversal trade that I look for. Doesn't really involve the roadmap line so much. We might be in a big uptrend, and then we kind of top out. Then we get that first pullback, maybe to the roadmap line. Why is this important? This next move, when we get that move up, if we stop, this is why like ES was so important. We stop in that vicinity of that 618 and turn back down. This is what I call a measured bounce. This is in direct conflict. This is why that 618 zone is so important. This is in direct conflict with that first pattern, because the extension here can be like this on the measured bounce, and this works up too. Look, if we're in a big downtrend, we get a first move up, and we get a retrace, hold the 618, like on Tesla, it sets up the big potential upside. So this sets up a bigger potential downside. This one's the one that can hurt most of the time if you're long. I'm watching out for this one all the time. This is on ES and S&P 500 and NASDAQ. That's why the 618 retrace right now, so very important, because we can result in a bigger downside. Everybody really clear on that? So if you're new here, that's the two patterns we're basically looking for in the market when we go through everything. So this one right here did the retrace, moved up, retrace, get above the 618, looking for that 1271. Well, the purple line is 90% of the way to the 1272. We're looking for the move up to the 1272, but I'm willing to book profit here because that is more conservative than actually hitting the 1272. Next up, ASML. This held the 618. Potential for this to get a bigger move. Like this is what I was talking about on the potential bottoming reversal here. Came down, moved up, retraced, 618, measured bounce. This is where the 3-point tool comes into play. 3-point fib tool. You have a 2-point fib tool and a 3-point fib tool. And hiding behind my monster can there. So move up, retrace. This next move up, potentially to 814. Right there on ASML. Got to break through that roadmap line that's been a definitive downtrend. I mean, look at that. Bounce off, extension lower. It's been working on the downside. So all the things I've been talking through, like basically showing up on these couple of charts here. So both those patterns. That's why they're so important. Like these two patterns, by their powers combined, Wonder Twins. Anyway, LMT is consolidating uptrend of lows, downtrend of highs, stuck under the roadmap line until we can break out up through this. We may just fill out this crap right in here. Be careful. Spotify. This did the roadmap, roadmap line bounce. Got the close above. Set up. Oh, we didn't get the close above yet. That closed down lower, close above today, sets up the upside 683. GE. Aerospace one, this big high, this big low. We break it back up of, there's a gap down right here. Caution. That's a danger zone right there. Dangerous. Bit of resistance. If we can get above it, we can go on up. Upside potential 224. We're sitting under that 618 level and under that gap. This can, remember, that can result in a bigger downside here. First move down, bounce off that 618. Second move down could put us down at 140. That one's not the highest probability for me. DHR down at the target. Man, beautiful. This was a big first move down. Retrace. Second move down. Copied. Now they don't copy in duration. They copy in size. It bottomed out in the right place. This could be a reversal point for DHR. Big picture. We look at the first move down. Yeah, perfect. So fib line, high to low. Maybe like, well, that doesn't look like a roadmap bounce. Not on this time frame. Not on that time frame either. We didn't quite touch it. But on the weekly, we touched it. It's probably on a multi-week, which I don't have set up on here. I bet on a 2-week, that probably came in right in here. So this sets up the potential rally back up in this area right there. FSLR. I'm not calling a bottom. The bigger supports right down. Look at all these fib lines that congregate right here. It would not surprise me to see this rally up, hit the roadmap line, and then flush back down here, back to 100. 100. Let's check on. How's my buddy McDonald's doing? Oh yeah, come on. Still in that trade for 330. On PGR. And back to the roadmap line. Just sitting and waiting. Smile and wave, boys. Uber. Man, is it 10 o'clock already? Yeah, it is. Like, all these alerts get firing off here. TIVC. Reverse split. Dumpster fire, baby. Don't mess with charts like this. So when you zoom out and look at this chart, doesn't really show much when we look at the weekly, but look how this is basically never traded above the roadmap line. Right, it had a little brief stint when the roadmap line showed up, it was below it, and it's never really traded above it. That reverse split happened down here, which these prices never happened. The multiplier is, it's actually got two multipliers. Reverse split back here, one for 100, and then one for 17. So 1700 is the multiplier. So these prices up here are multiplied by 1700. Crazy. That means for every 1700 shares you had back here at the IPO, now you have one share. All right, that's what a reverse split means. I've not seen a bullish reverse split. So when you see this, this is what I call a dumpster fire. Blasting down, reverse splitting, sprinkling in garbage along the way, and it just nasty. Don't trade those. KLAC, hey, potential to have bottomed. We can build a reversal here. Back above 750 takes us up to 950. Race. Shopping around. That might be done on that correction here. Now, race is probably going to top out. Like, whether that was the final squeak or we do another squeak higher, I'm not sure. This is probably going to do a deeper retrace at some point. Take back a lot of this big move. Maybe back into the 200s. 3M. Get some tape. Double-sided sticky. This is a trend of lower highs and probably needs a retrace back down to 100 to be able to beat that high right there. We're not making higher highs, so we need to make, like, this was a lower low than this. We've got, you know, this did make a higher low. This did make a higher high than this, but then we made a lower high than this. So we need to retrace, hold a higher low, break through, make a higher high, and convert this into a bigger uptrend. MSTR, as we already mentioned, not really breaking out so far. We've got the resistance at the 618. If we can get above it, upside becomes big. FNGA working on that 618 retrace hold and reversal here. PTIRs, PLTRs, leverage chart. Be careful. This could, we're seeing the AI flavor fade a little bit here. This could come back to normal, back to a little bit more reasonable prices. There's a lot of hype on this baby. Look at these numbers. These are years. All right. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just a price multiplier. Yeah. Read it as years. All right. PE ratio 495. That means 495 years of their earnings to justify the current share price. Price to sales 82. 82 years of all their sales to justify the current share price. Those are stupid numbers. All right, be careful. That is not, those are not justifiable numbers. They're not growing that fast. I mean, maybe they do, but it's just not reality at this point. Watch out for a bigger pullback. The share price can get cut in quarter, and by, lose 75% of the value to bring this back down to 20, and it would still be crazy. So this little pullback from here to here, 50%, not even that crazy. And it can happen very, very quickly. So be careful. We're under that 618. It's flashing warning. Warning, warning, warning. Be careful. You can do it with your own money what you want to, but I would be very cautious. I took my calls and closed them that I had on that one. I did expect a bounce. We hit the 618. We stopped. I got out. This is a 618 retrace. Looking for the next pop. Get through that bigger 618 up there. And we can set this up for the bigger upside. Potentially 600 to 700. Meta. This did not do a 618 retrace and hold. Coming into earnings. This may drift on down into this vicinity before we find reversal here. Now this could be the low and we could just rally back up to this area. Possible. Got that resistance. There's a lot of, like, we haven't made any kind of reversal pattern yet. That was the lowest low right there on this whole correction. Lowest low. So you got nothing at this point. Like, maybe you want to buy and stop back out on a new low, but it's not very high probability for any kind of setup right now. Could definitely come on down. PNR. Let's see what we got. That low, that high. Didn't really retrace to anything that matters. Could be just a retrace for an extension higher. 118, 120. Holo. There's another dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. Holy moly, man. That 10, that's a 200x times 40x. Golly. 8,000x collapse. Like you used to have 8,000 shares, now you got one. Holy bananas. That thing looks like it's going in the garbage. Q, Q, Q. Yeah, we already talked about that potential for that 618. And then if we break through, we could see upside on up there. Calix. CALX. Just in a choppy sideways consolidation. If we were to make the next extension, 45. AliExpress, looking for that to bounce and get back up to 160. Be careful. If China's really having trouble, we may see this roll off. But if all of a sudden the trade deal works out and everybody plays the game, everybody's like, game on, this could recover quickly. Carvana, symbol of the 618. Caution. We could see another downside move. If we can break through, upside 321. GELS. Not enough chart to do anything with. Big pop. Nasty price action. Not for me. App 11. Probably still working on downside. AXP. Might have hit the downside target and reversing. We're looking for a move up through the 618 and the roadmap line. This is a very, very common chart where we see the roadmap line and the 618 in the same place. And we see this 618 retrace, this big, large upside potential. You could buy now, stop out below the low, and target this up here. How much time and options? A lot. I would definitely buy later in the year, if not like January next year, if I was trying to play that. Definitely out to the fall at the earliest. FAS, same kind of pattern. Same kind of beautiful upside. SPXL, same kind of pattern, same kind of beautiful upside potential. And we might reject at that 618 on all these, so be careful. Tesla, we already went through on the start. DEO. And we'll kind of watch Tesla tonight during 30 minutes of awesome too. Touch in on that one. DEO. There's the resistance on the upside. Watch out for the bounce down. CRM. I think this still got further to go on the downside. Amazon. That got really deep on that retrace, kind of like Meta. It did not make a lower low like Meta, but it got really deep and might be indicating further downside. Apple holding that 618 retrace pretty darn well. Actually held a 50% retrace, which is, that's bullish for Apple to go back up to this 276 area. Capital One, still under the roadmap line. We get above it. Watching for the 618 retrace up there. Resistance. Watch for that resistance right in there. Get above that. Be looking for the breakout to new highs. 222. Coinbase, nice reversal, but we haven't done anything yet. Still way below resistance. Here's the upside target. That's the setup we got. PDD, sitting at lows, not really bullish yet. SMH, that's that 618 retrace that we see on so many charts. Could set up a big upside potential. NVIDIA's got that same setup. Could see this large breakout potential. Bulls, same 618 retrace. Same kind of potential. Yen. Sitting here under the roadmap line. That was a big three-wave retrace. Looking for that to pop above the 618, 41 to get upside, 69. AVGO, same kind of thing. We've got the big move up, bounce off here, retrace 50%. If we can break through that 618, upside 274. PHM, sitting at the lows, not indicating a reversal yet. XLK, move up, retrace, 618 held. Potential for this to ramp. This is an ETF, and they've got a lot of Amazon and Tesla inside them. If I remember correctly. About the fun. Apple currently. Apple and Microsoft, excuse me. Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, AVGO, CRM. So, as Apple and Microsoft reverse, I was thinking XLY, not XLK. XLY. There you go. Amazon, Tesla on XLY. So XLK is Apple and Microsoft. And this is X. This one, check out the chart here. Same pattern. Same exact pattern. So take your pick. IWM. Be careful on this one. Not quite the same pattern. This might drift lower. PLTR, we already discussed. ETHU. As Ethereum goes, this is going, which is just sitting at the lows. Snow, doing the 618 retrace. We hold it. We have the potential for the bigger upside pop outs. I am getting close to being willing to put more risk on that one. FUTU. Pull back, move up, retrace. Same pattern. Watch for that 618 resistance and the upside 143. Decliners, NOC, getting whacked today, still in the consolidation zone. Not really indicating we're doing anything for Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman. Sideways for years and years at this point. Trouble breaking out, trouble breaking down. No big indication we're doing jack diddly. Med P, getting whacked. Can't say it's a surprise. I kind of expect that to come on down to 240 before we find support. KMB, Kimberly Clark. Kind of choppy sideways. Not really. Haven't been able to do anything for. I mean, golly, look how long this has been stuck. I don't like to trade stuff like this because it's just like there's no trend. Like some people love like iron condors and stuff, but there's usually not any premium on something that doesn't move because there's no risk. It just grinds sideways, and it's incredibly difficult to make any money. You know, holding it for the dividend that's not very big is like it's just disappointing. Like $3.60. I mean, even if it had a bigger cycle, like it'd be more interesting. But that just sits in a $20 range for years and years and years. It just makes it incredibly difficult to make any money investing in that. RTX, big fat pullback, move up, retrace, and that's probably going lower low. Like that first move down, retrace to the 618, extension lower. Got a little deeper, held that gap. That's why the gap, like I was talking about, watch out for these gaps. We actually filled the gap and dropping out. Probably going to come on down in this zone right in here. Somewhere around 102 to 108 before we find a bottom in RTX. ETHD, watch for this to break through the roadmap line and start down. That's an indication that Ethereum may be reversing. Elevance still has potential to extend this to the bottom. That's a bounce off the bottom of the roadmap line. Watch for the extension down here to 350. UVIX, watch for this to break back down through the roadmap line and head toward the bottom. Is a decaying asset. Yang didn't even make it to the roadmap line. Probably going to make a run back at the lows. VXX, watch for this to crush back down to the lows. Give it back up. Vixie, watch for this to crush back down. Zion. That would not surprise me to come back down to this level. Verizon. Just chopping, 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 chopping. Not really indicating we're doing much of anything at the moment. There's the high, there's the low. If we break back up through 44, we could see 48, 49, but that's not much move. UVIX, and watch out, like this could be a setup to flush down lower. It's kind of what I'm getting the feeling in the market, that we're going to see volatility plummet and the market rally strongly for a little bit. TXN hanging out at the lows, no indication we're going to reverse here. We're in a reversal zone, but there's no strong indication that that's it. We could extend it to a lower low than we've had. That's the list. Bias for the day is up finally. I'm looking for the upside. I think we're down on we're done on the downside. So we have lots of upside resistance though. We've got to get through 5300, 5350, 5530, and then we've got that big resistance up there around 5700. So there's a lot of upside resistance, but you could play the upside for the next several weeks, looking for here, moving up to here. Watch out for any of these rejections and be, jack me nimble, jack me quick, jack, close the winning trades before you get stuck with a big stick. And there you go. I think we finished the downside. So congratulations, you survived. All right, everybody. I'll be back 5 p.m. Eastern. 30 minutes of awesome. Come see me. Come hang out. Love to have you. Without your requests, the show was not very fun for a request show. Have a great day. Have a great afternoon. I'll be live in Discord hanging out all day. So